let's do a few questions at least. It can be for any of us. I'll repeat the question so everyone can hear it, but it can be for any of us. So go ahead, raise your hands. What do you guys want to know right here?
Did the people think that Mordred's body was dead and that's how...
Oh, hey, just a sec. Sorry, I should give a warning. Let's stay away from spoilers. I know we just had a reading that but let's stay away from spoiler questions. You can ask them when you come up to get your book signed.
Okay.
But let's stay away from particularly about the epilogue spoilers.
Without getting into anything specific, you all did such an amazing job on this series, on this great work of fiction, and I can't say how much I appreciate it. But I wonder what memories you guys hold on to, what thoughts come to your mind as you reach the apex of this great thing.
Wow, what memories come to us? What thoughts? What emotions do we have as we reach the end of this thing? Harriet, what do you feel, having gone through all of this and been involved all of these years?
Is the dark one in this thing? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is when my husband gave me, I guess, about the first third of The Eye of the World. We'd been married for a number of years at that point, and I'd edited all his earlier stuff, and this just, wow. And I remember calling Tom Doherty, the publisher of Tor, and saying, Tom, either this book, you've got to read it. He said, yeah, why? Because publishers really don't have time to read everything. I said, because either this is wonderful, or after 8 years of marriage, I've fallen into the wife trap. And that's the first thing, just golly, it's wonderful. And I said something to him later, my husband, well, when they get to Tarvalon, he said, they don't get there in this book, Harriet. I said, okay. And it just was, it was truly a wow moment.
So for me, and the reason why I picked Elaine's battle speech is that it is about the forces of good against the forces of evil. And we have been working on this for almost 20 years through our marriage, had 2 kids during the course of this, not in front of the microphone. And right when I got to the part where Elaine gives that speech, the big storm, Sandy, happened. And I was in tears in the booth with that sense of what this series does to capture that sense of coping with massive amounts of destruction and with the forces of evil. And I feel like we need this message in the world today so badly. Michael and I have to give that message to our kids as we raise them. We have to raise them to fight for the power of good and to have courage and to keep going and to persevere. And that's, to me, what this speech and actually the whole series is about. So it's been an amazing, amazing journey.
Well, this series for me will always be about the discovery of Loyal, both as an artist but also as just a wonderful creature. I remember encountering him in the first book, and it was a 3-page monologue, going, what am I going to do with this? Because it was a real challenge artistically to come up with a voice. And it was such a liberating experience to try to do that and embrace that. That's the first thing, and that kind of, for me, was what anchored the series in my own mind. Okay, this is the world. I get to really have so much fun as an artist doing this. And the other, I think the other moment was, I believe it's in Gathering Storm. It's on Dragon Mount, when Rand was on Dragon Mount. That was a journey for that character, and that was a real journey to embrace. And I think that's part of why this series resonates, is that those characters resonate with who we are and what we're about. They're kind of two extremes, but those are two of the things I think I'll carry away more than anything else.
Robert Jordan, when asked in an interview to describe the series, first he hummed and hawed, because he's like, well, I wrote it the length that I did because that's how long it takes me to tell you the story. But finally he said, well, if I have to reduce it to a sentence, the series is about what it's like to be a normal person who is told you have to save the world. And this has been a journey, really. I mean, I picked up this book when I was, Eye of the World I picked up when I was 15, 1990. How many of you picked it up in 1990? Yeah, we've been waiting a while. And I remember being able to sit down and read Robert Jordan's ending. I did that in 2007, in December of 2007. What you now hold as the epilogue is what I read as the first thing in the stack of pages that Harriet gave me. I flipped right to that one, and I mean, you know, he had said he'd written the ending, and so I wanted to see what it was that I had as a target to shoot for, right? And I remember that emotion of reading that and being like, oh, it's the right ending. It's satisfying. It works. Because I was so worried in picking this up that you know, he wouldn't have been able to finish that ending, or that I wouldn't know exactly where to go, and he did finish the ending. And having that in hand made the whole finishing the series possible, because I at least had a target to shoot for, and that was the most important part. And so I would say that the two most important moments for me with the Wheel of Time were that picking up Eye of the World as a teenage boy, not knowing what I was getting myself into, and being able to read his ending, sitting in Charleston, and having known for years that he'd been saying he knew the ending, and then reading it, and it in some ways ended for me right then. The same way it's going to end for you, or has ended for you as you've read. But of course, there are no endings, just endings. All right, let's do like one or two. Oh, Harriet's got another.
I do have another. At one point, somebody asked him to describe the series in 6 words. And he said, cultures crumble, nations fall, cope. That's only 5, but I don't want to be wordy.
All right, back here. Well, we only have time for like 1 or 2 more questions. So.
Michael, I wondered, as a couple, you guys argue who does a better voice for characters, like, you know, who does a better man or who does a better Rand?
I'll repeat the question. The question is, as a couple, do you guys fight over who does the better voice for a given character?
I think we appreciate what we each bring. But I know that the day he walked up from the basement and told me the voice he created for Loyal, because I was gonna have to do that. That's not possible!
No, we actually, the craft of audio, audiobooks is such that I think, as I wrote in the magazine audiophile, when we asked that same question to a certain degree, what we tried to do was distill the essence of the character and fit it to your instrument, to your voice. And because there's no way I can do her voice and she can do my voice, and that's not the important thing. The important thing is to distill the essence of that character and communicate that. And so I don't think we ever actually had one quibble or about voices. It was just discussing the essence of that particular character. But it was more about first of all, there was a huge trust between the two of us in terms of, you can handle that, you know what that is, and you never worry about it because it's like you're just handing it off to the other person to carry forward.
And round, I did learn how to speak like that. All right, another question. All right, back there. Is this the end? Excellent question. It is. Robert Jordan was very uncomfortable with people writing in his world, though he eventually decided to allow the ending to be written. For years he had said if he didn't finish it, he would order all of his hard drives bulldozed. And out of respect for that, he did not want us to continue on with anything more. And he didn't leave very much in the way of notes for anything more. There are 2 sentences about the Outriggers, which were the sequel trilogy he was going to do. And that's all. And so, no, there's not going to be any more. I can't say the sentences right now because it will be spoilers. But Harriet said she'd release them, and you can see when she releases them online what they are. Yeah, some months down the road she's gonna get them. But there are a couple things to keep your eyes out for. One is the encyclopedia, which Harriet is working on. A frequently asked question. This will be an actual encyclopedia as opposed to the big white book, which was in World. This will read like an encyclopedia, alphabetized. It'll have entries for characters. It'll say everything that they do in the series. It'll be beginning to end. It will include a lot of information. What's that? Yeah. It will include. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll include lots of information that is in the notes but isn't in the series. So it should be very fun. The other thing is there's a charity anthology coming out called Unfettered, to which we donated a deleted scene from A Memory of Light that got cut out. So those things are coming. And to head off questions regarding this, Universal holds the film rights for The Wheel of Time. They are developing a feature film based on Eye of the World. They're on the second draft of the script, the screenplay, which we haven't seen. So there we are. All right, let's do one more question. So, okay, right here. Yep.
It's 2-parter. First, because you split it into 3 books and reorganized things versus doing the one big one. What do you regret most having to do with that process?
Okay, for splitting the book from 1 to 3, are there any regrets with that? Well, at the end of the day, it was impossible to do it as one book. But the biggest issue that caused was timeline issues with Perrin's timeline, because Perrin's timeline, opposite Rand's and Egwene's timeline from Gathering Storm, got a little bit jumbled. It's all there, but it looks kind of wonky in Towers of Midnight, and so I kind of wish we'd found a way around that. If they were all together in one book, that timeline wouldn't be off. But otherwise, I think everything else worked really well. All right, so I'm going to go down a list of announcements here, just really quickly, and then we're going to go to the book signing. The first thing I will announce is we have lots of wonderful back stock and stock for you guys to purchase if you want to. I just want to point that out specifically because I want to give a thank you to the bookstore. You know, bookstores are something of a endangered species these days. And we really appreciate good bookstores that we can come to and have a book signing at. We know that you can get your books sometimes cheaper online, but online booksellers don't have to have a store like this where they can have a signing and all this event space. And so we encourage you to you know, patronize your local bookstores, thank them for having us in, and if there are things you want to pick up, they do have audiobooks that you could have Michael and Kate sign for you. And they do have all of the early Wheel of Time books. Harriet is willing to sign any Wheel of Time book. So if you want to go get a copy of Eye of the World, she will sign it. I will not. I didn't work on them. I'll only sign the ones that I worked on. Harriet will sign, however, The Way of Kings of mine. She did edit, did a guest edit on The Way of Kings. Otherwise, she won't sign books of mine that she didn't work on. But Michael and Kate did do the audiobook for The Way of Kings.
We'll sign anything.
So I asked for them specifically, and I was happy to get them. And so, yeah, so we would love to have you pick up all those things. Go peruse our back stock. They've got lots of paperbacks of lots of fun stuff. And yeah, you had a question about that?
Yes. Will Harriet be willing to sign the graphic novel?
Yes, Harriet will sign the graphic novel. She will also sign the big white book if you have it. Anything Wheel of Time related, Harriet is happy to sign. She's been involved from the beginning. Where is the back stock? Booksellers. It's up at the front, okay? So it might be a little, yeah, head up there to the front and have a look. Yeah, your number's still good. I do get a question once in a while. This is not to be a shill, but I do get the question of people who are interested in trying one of my books if they've only read The Wheel of Time. I suggest Mistborn. That is the book that Harriet read that made her choose me to work on The Wheel of Time.
Got him the job.
Yeah, got me the job. So, a couple of other announcements. The first one is, and I'm sorry about this, but we are not going to do personalizations the first time through the line. Please, everyone come through. What we're going to do is we're going to just sign the first time through. There's a lot of you, and I will stay and do personalizations afterwards for second time through the line, but that'll allow Harriet to get back to the hotel a little bit earlier, and it'll move things a little bit faster. So first time through, we are not personalizing, we're just signing, okay? But if you do have audiobooks you want to get signed, you can probably, if all you have is audiobooks, come up and get Michael and Kate to sign those. You can probably sneak up front and get that done. Oh, they're going to be over there. Okay, well, they'll be in their own corner. Okay, well, that'll make it easy. If you are disabled, please feel free to come to the front. I shouldn't have to announce this, but at our signing, at my signing a couple of days ago, I had a gentleman with muscular dystrophy, like standing on crutches and waiting in line. Please do feel free to come to the front. Same goes with anyone who have very small children. You know, if you've got young ones that need to get home to bed, we would invite you to come up. You know, we're talking 3-year-olds or younger. If your very small child is 16, yeah, I was a very small child at 16 too, at least mentally. I think sorry, I have to get out my cheat sheet of announcements. We will do photos with you if you want, but they can't be posed, meaning you can't come around the back of the thing and stuff. We will have someone here to take your camera, and they will take the picture while we're talking to you, okay? Just to keep things moving. We spend a lot of time staring at cameras if we do it the other way. So you just hand it to them. They'll be taking pictures while you're talking to us, and that sort of thing, rather than post pictures, if that's okay. Otherwise, I think we are good. I'm going to hand this over to a bookstore person, and they're going to tell you how to come. This will take a long time. If you have a very high number, feel free to go off and browse the bookstore or go get dinner and come back. I guarantee that I will be here until 10 o'clock at the earliest. I'll probably be here till like 11:30. But if you go and come back by 10, you're guaranteed to still get your book signed, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, and Harriet will be here till everybody's got signatures. So, all right, thank you guys.